Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
It was planned to be a big party day, Chemda. I'm telling you what, we have the great Paige Hoskins put together a fantastic show with some of your favorite Keith and the Girl guests. They supported our Kickstarter, and we're going to be talking to Shalewa Sharpe, Rod Morrow, Karen Morrow, Newsy, Bianca Brady. Okay, so let's what are we going to talk about today? Let's open the newspaper and holy shit! No. Holy shit!
Did something happen?
Well, I'll tell you, Rod. I see trending number one is praise God, and you think, why not, right? But it's also a big deal when it's trending number one on my trending things because my algorithm isn't too much praise God. So I click on praise God, and it turns out Roe versus Wade indeed has been overturned. Oh my Lord! Let's talk to the women first. Shalewa.
What? What do you want to talk to me for? I don't have any. I'm busy. I mean, I was just trying to make a Target run.
I'll tell you something. You're not gonna stop me from killing this thing. Like, that's crazy. There's just. But I know you're going to stop other people, and that is so disgusting.
I saw while in line at Target, I saw there were two women ahead of me, and one woman turned to the other, and she said, "Girl, this means we're going to have to go underground for these things." And the other woman said, I know. And I don't think they knew each other. Like, that's what, and this is this is not a Target where, what happens in the world enters. Do you know what I mean? Like when you walk into this particular Target, you are lost in their time. So that managed to seep in. I was just like, oh boy, we are already making plans for the revolution over here in the razors, which might be a dangerous place to think of it. But I mean, whenever it comes to mind, okay.
That's a real Walmart type of conversation.
That is. That really is. Yeah, absolutely. In Target, they think they're probably above it and don't need to worry about it. That's definitely a Walmart conversation.
Right. When people vote now, should they understand it might be as simple as vote Democrat if this thing disgusts you, because in the end, it has to do with the Supreme Court. Is voting that simple?
I'm still seeing on my timeline people being like, should I still worry about voting? Is voting still important now? Tell me now, Democrats, that voting's still important. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do with you right now. I don't know what to do with you.
I mean, I understand kind of that point, Newsy, where people are coming from, because for, all of Trump, Democrats were shamed. Oh, well, you didn't vote enough. You're not. And then Hillary Clinton won the popular vote, and they're like, but you didn't vote in the right spots. So, you need to vote locally. You need to vote in all your elections. You need to pay attention to everything. And so then we start voting. Democrats control all three branches of government, and then nothing good happens when Democrats are in power in the most possible way. And they're like, but you didn't vote. It's like, we actually really did vote. We voted a lot. And
I think the numbers.
You won. And now you're in the seat of power. This is still happening. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't vote. It just means it seemed like that didn't work really that well.
I think I think it's kind of a gross oversimplification to say nothing good has happened under Biden or whatever.
I didn't say that.
Well, Democrats are in power, and you're like, I don't know. Go back and rewind the tape. It was they didn't do nothing.
No, I mean just specifically about abortion rights.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying, right?
That's all I'm talking about right now.
That's a 2016 thing. Like, Trump selected 3 justices. So like that's not a Democrats can change that in 2022. This is the check coming for 2016. So
right,
like,
but there were things that could have been done in the House and the Senate with regard to the filibuster, certain other things that could have been a little bit more lively, sort of finessed.
Yeah, and I do understand where you're coming from. I understand people's frustration. I understand people's irritation. But a lot of people say things and they're not, and this is just my opinion, not basing it in reality. The reality is this falls on the American populace. The populace determines who gets in the House, who gets in the Senate. They determine all these numbers. Once you put these people in power, based off of who's in power, they are go and vote on what they have been voted into office for. And what happened in 2016, a lot of people thought Trump wasn't going to be as bad as he was, and they didn't take it seriously. They just did not take it seriously. And so when you don't take these things seriously, what happens is now we're in the situation that we're in, and then people talk about do something, but numbers matter because a lot of this falls down to math. Regardless of how people feel, it's math. It's like, do you have the numbers to filibuster? You actually don't. Do you have the numbers to do these things, to pass these things in the House and to the Senate? It's like one part votes something in, and then the other part said, we're not doing that shit. We're just not doing it. And so I think that people's frustration and people's irritation is not directed to where it should be. It should be at Manchin and Cinema and like those people. That's who you need to be mad at.
Yeah.
well, I think also like, so if you vote for a Democrat, there's a 96% chance that they're going to vote for the things that you're into. But if we only have 50 of them, that leaves us too short, right? When we say people need to go vote, we're saying we got to get that number up. People look at FDR as a great president. He had like 68 Democrats in his Congress. Like, of course he's a great president. Because if 8 motherfuckers was whack, he could be like, that's fine. We're going to keep going. But we're like razor thin margins right now. So
no, and I agree. And I don't want to be mistaken for me saying like voting doesn't matter. I'm obsessed with voting. I'm constantly voting.
You would marry it.
I'm always texting people being like, hey, there's an election in your district.
Right.
And so I'm obsessed with voting. I can't get enough. I vote 10, 20 times an election. But the frustration for me is just that Democrats are in power. And over the past administration, the Republican minority was so obstructionist.
Correct.
And now, so the kind of the rules are different. They weren't coming to the table in good faith,
Mm-hmm.
Could we also just understand that like being pregnant is so fun? There's lots of parties. People pay
Baby
attention
showers.
to you. Baby showers. You get some time off of work. I mean, and then it's such a pleasure to like, watch that face as it shits on your face because it's facing whatever way and the projectile shat all over it. It's just so
Throwing
fun.
up on you.
Yeah.
I just think
I mean, what's better than that? Bleeding for 5 days every month, every single fucking month. You might as well be pregnant. They're doing us a favor, you guys. Pay attention, sheeple.
Our system is so set up too, where it's like easy to be obstructionist, hard to build things. Like Republicans didn't pass policy for most part. They just obstructed policy.
Exactly.
And then when they got in charge, they didn't pass anything like progressive or anything that was like big ideas. It was all like, how do we not do shit?
Exactly.
So I definitely understand like people feeling like I voted and I want more, but literally just the way it's set up, the numbers are, and I think it's just the Generation X in me is like, the numbers are, we still have to vote. It wasn't we fight one time and we don't get what we want, we go back. And I think hearing people today be like, well, this is why I'm not gonna vote. Like it's like it's like such a, and I'm not saying you're saying that, Bianca, but it's such a like the opposite of what's happening.
Right.
Where it's like, who the fuck is this guy? It's like we're all pushing a car, and there's one person like, I'm gonna push the car the other way. It's like, what? No, we're going up the hill.
Right.
we got to make it.
This defeats
I
the
just
purpose.
think my concluding point on this is just to say it's frustrating when so many people do become engaged and they do care and they do show up to vote, and then the common refrain is just like, well, it's your fault because you didn't vote. It's just like, okay, but I did, you know, like.
But then that would make you not one of the people they're talking about.
Okay, I guess so. I just think we should shift the narrative to expect more from the leadership that we do have versus, you know, the 75-80% of Americans who do approve of abortion rights in this country. You know, those numbers are in as well.
Karen?
I think,
So
but
this
if,
is a vocal minority.
If you're in that 75%, right, and then you're like, I ain't gonna vote, but why the fuck this shit ain't happening? Then it's just that minority that people are mad at, because that's how close the margins are, and we know you can't get Republicans.
Yeah,
so
if you
like yelling
vote,
at them is like they don't give a fuck. But if someone tells me I'm on your side, I want to help you, but I'm not gonna vote or help you in that way, that's the person I'm going to yell at, because I'm like, maybe you'll get off your ass and help, and we will be able to get the things we want. I'm not spending any time yelling at a side that won't listen to me.
You know what the best part of this is we started a conversation.
Pat myself on the back.
Yeah, sorry.
It does feel like I like walked in on debate club, whatever, and I was just like, oh, this is what high school is like when all the like smart kids were getting together and talking. And like I just jump in and say one thing, and I'm like, and conversation started, leaving now.
Well, speaking of American schools, let me be clear what we're talking about. Roe versus Wade was back in 1973. Roe is Jane Roe. It's like saying John Doe. It's not a real name, of course. This woman sued the Dallas Attorney General Henry Wade over a Texas law that made it a crime to terminate a pregnancy except in cases of rape or incest or when the mother's life was in danger. Which, by the way, we're not only going back to that, we're going further back to that. I'll get to that. Roe's lawyer said she was unable to travel out of the state to obtain an abortion and argued that the law was too vague and infringed on her constitutional rights. Now, though, it's not just Roe versus Wade is overturned. These states are ready for it to be overturned. So you're looking at 18 states where you won't be able to get abortions, counting rape, counting incest. I don't think people believe that. That is a fact. I don't think people believe, like, there's no way we live where your dad rapes you. You have to have the baby. There is. There is now.
Yeah, well, a cartoon was our president, so really, literally anything can happen.
But that's not the cartoon that's doing that. The cartoon that's doing this is, what's his name? Thomas. That cartoon.
Clarence Thomas. Yeah.
Yeah, that cartoon. And that cartoon has been on the air since, what was that, 91?
Yeah.
92?
Since Joe Biden gave him the green light to
animate
that cartoon.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, Micah Fox tweeted out, this is what happens when decisions about rape victims are made by rapists.
Yep. Kavanaugh.
Clarence Thomas is the
Brett
Anita
Kavanaugh.
Hill Clarence Thomas that we're talking about.
Yep. Kavanaugh.
Yes.
He's also accused of rape.
Of course, people are bringing up that justices, for example, Gorsuch and Kavanaugh said under oath when they were applying for the job, they said, "No, we're not going to overturn Roe versus Wade."
I was like,
Wade
y'all
ever."
believe them? What is wrong with you people?
It feels like that was yesterday. It's like, no, there's no way. That's a fact, and of course not. And surprise, surprise, here we are. And bringing up Clarence Thomas also suggested today that they should look at rates of contraception, rates of same-sex relationships, and gay marriage as well.
Yeah, they're coming after everything, Keith. I don't think people understand. It's like on our show, we talk about this a lot, and we tell people you have to go after things that actually don't impact you, because eventually they're going to come after some shit that you care about, and you're going to be looking around while ain't nobody in my corner. And that's because when they was going through their things, you were not there.
They literally, in the past 2 days, if you were just sitting there, a bump on the log, it's like first they came for your Juul cigarettes, and you're like,
Right.
well, I don't even smoke Juul cigarettes. And then they came for your Miranda rights, and you were like, well, when am I going to get arrested?
Right.
And now, you know what I mean? Like
Wow.
literally, they just, and then we gave that to the guns, and you're like, that's not my problem. I
Yep.
live in a place where that's not an issue. Well,
Right.
oh, what do you mean, New York? Guess what? It is an issue now.
Mhm.
And now, you know what? We'll let you get some rest. Why don't you go to sleep tonight? And then in the morning, we'll just go ahead and just reverse the whole abortion
And
thing.
that's why I go back to what the question Keith asked at the beginning, where it's like, is it just that simple? Yes. I'm not like, I'm really not here for the equivocating. It's that fucking simple now, because it has to be, because we let it be that simple. That 2016, it wasn't that simple. You really could be like, I'm gonna browse and cherry pick some rights here, and these rights aren't fresh. I'll wait on those. And now it's fucking down to like, guys, it's back to slavery. So
yeah.
in
I keep
November,
wondering what the end game is. You know what I mean?
That's the end
when
game.
I'm quiet, I'm just like, what exactly is the end game? Okay, so they take away everything, and what am I supposed to do? Like be someone's wet nurse? Bitch, I'm 50. I can't. Like, no. What exactly? You know what I mean? Like
They
what
are regulating that too, Shalewa.
I'm sure.
Unfortunately,
Well,
because of the
I mean,
They
formula
are working
shortage.
hard.
You
That's
know?
the next
Formula
bill they're gonna pass.
shortage. Yeah.
I just look, if you have me as your wet nurse, you have a hungry child. Is all I'm saying. Just-
And when I say about the 18 states, there's even more states that are still gonna, even if they allow abortions for rape and incest, they still have you have to get your abortion under 6 weeks.
Yep.
Is it safe to say you're not going to realize you're pregnant in 6 weeks? Most likely.
right?
I'm seeing people pass around information online, and everything has to be vetted. And I'm just like scrolling through Instagram, and I'm just like, that seems nice, but I don't know if I should share this. One person is saying, you can still get pills from Europe shipped over to America for your abortion. And just like, who's gonna?
Right.
how do
Can
trust
you?
that?
Because
How do you
I
trust
can't
that?
get shit delivered to my house.
Yep.
I don't live on a block where the mail really comes on the regular. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So I don't like the Amazon truck that comes through here is a low rider. There's no way I'm getting my European pills on time. So
And the logistics, when you talk about exceptions for sexual assault, the logistics of having to prove sexual assault in 6 weeks.
right.
Deshaun Watson's been in court for 2 years. Like you're like, it's so ridiculous, these laws that they're passing, and they don't have it. It's basically just, you can't get abortions. Like everything is
Right.
just lightweight. We're gonna say wink wink, it's about this, but low key, you just can't get no abortion.
And
Sorry.
then there's states where we'll say, okay, if it is rape, you can get an abortion, but you had to file a police report.
right.
If you don't understand why that's such a big deal either, then what am I going to tell
And
you?
what
Like,
happens if you file a police report, right? You get the abortion, and then you lose the trial.
Right.
Mhm. Also, like, why are we acting like you just get an abortion? Have you tried to
Right.
make a doctor's appointment lately?
I can't get my driver's license. Apparently, I didn't bring the original Constitution to the DMV yesterday.
Yeah, it's not that easy.
Sometimes it's months out. They be like, I'm booked for 3 months out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
also,
and then,
you
like-
know, you're going up my poon. I'm saying it. This is the show to say. You're going up my poon. I might want to take a minute to pick the doctor who does it, the
Right,
setting.
right.
I mean, if I just found out, even if I did find out 3 weeks in, I have to take time off of work. It's not, abortion is not as fun as we make it seem. You know, we
Right.
give it like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Just from the
it must
outside.
be what you're
You mean
thinking.
there's no one there with t-shirt guns just shooting them in the waiting area?
Just from the outside.
There's no confetti in the room.
Y'all ready for this?
Abortion
to, like,
time. Let's
have
go.
to
Another
cross
one
the
served.
line.
I don't know. At my abortion, they played Ferris Bueller on the TVs, and I was like, oh, this ain't bad.
Yeah.
I
Donut
love
on your
this
way out.
movie. I do love this movie.
At my abortion, I was like, and they're like, oh my God, you're crying. And I'm like, yeah, why are you surprised that I feel anything? And they're like,
Yeah.
I know it, but it's really interesting because based on what we know about you, it was like 1 in a million that you would get pregnant. You should play the lotto after this. I'm like, on my list, bitch. I knew this would be fun for a reason. Anyway, I'm so rich thanks to my abortion.
Also, like we read an article the other day where some person burned down the only a clinic in a state. So like they already have restricted some of the places that allow legal abortion have restricted it so bad that it's like one place in the whole state can do this. Someone burned it down. There's no place now.
And they're also making it illegal to travel.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing is if you're trying to set up travel things, you got to check with your state to see if they're not going to.
And did you see the companies that are like, okay, we'll pay for your travel so you can get an abortion.
Right.
But now I got to tell my fucking job.
Right. And I mean, you don't even want me to have a day off. Like it was, we had to have all kinds of riots in order for anyone to know what Juneteenth was. And then for them to go, all right, well, maybe we'll give you a day off.
You know what? They're passing a law to ban protests. I don't think a lot of people feel realize like they doing all this shit.
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
But you can't go out. The industry is put up signs and protest, which is law-abiding citizens. Now we're going to charge you with a federal crime.
That's truly wild because that's really how shit gets moving. When you can't get them off your front lawn, when they keep yelling at you while you're trying to eat your Fiesta lime chicken at Applebee's, like when you mess with them in that way, like in their face, that's how it's just like, well, I'll do whatever to get this to stop. I can't sleep. So now they've made that.
Can we call this episode Skeet-Skeet Goddamn?
I think we blew by like a really smart idea though that I just want to touch back on.
Abortion parties?
T-shirt canon.
Yes.
And this is how we will perform illegal abortions from now on.
You act like you're just at a concert, but there are a bunch of accidents in the front row.
Whoops.
It's like, all right, girl, get on, and then brace yourself.
Pregnant ladies in the front row.
Yeah, sure. All right, you got it. Or you just fall down the stairs to get to the front row.
Belly first.
That's a lot. How about the roller coaster rides? All of a sudden, people are going to those parks and riding super extra roller coasters until.
Is that one? Is that a way? I only know ways from soap operas. So it's either you fall downstairs or you ride a horse.
Yes. I saw that documentary. I saw that documentary too. Empire.
Or you run into something, or get somebody to kick you. Yeah.
Those are the only ways.
That's how it works on TV.
I saw Empire season 2, and that documentary is true. And also, I've been watching Greenleaf, and a woman had a miscarriage because her husband came out as gay. So, like, maybe that could work too.
Let's do it. Let's see if we can combine some forces here. Let's get this. Let's try to streamline all of this.
Yeah,
T-shirt cannon firing squad.
Yes. Do it like an NBA game.
Number
be like, who wants T-shirts? Y'all ready for this?
Or karate classes, pregnant women for free. You know?
Yes.
Number 2. Also, you could say, okay, I can't get an abortion. I make a left out of the parking lot. I go to the gun store. I buy an AR-15 and I just kill myself. And then,
but make sure you kill like a lot of people too, because that's still legal.
Yeah.
But if you survive, will they charge you with the murder?
But aren't they, in all fairness, raising the age to when you're allowed to commit mass murders?
You want people to be a little more mature.
Are you sure? To tell me that somebody is out there like, well, I want to shoot up a school, but I'm not old enough. What do I do?
I mean, and it's not, I guarantee men are listening thinking, well, do these whores need all these abortions? I know multiple women who got some form of contraception from the doctor, and the doctor didn't explain how it worked fully. No, this doesn't work immediately. You have to wait a month and a half. Like, that is important to say. And anybody who thinks like doctors are telling you everything apparently has never seen a fucking doctor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, also Paige is writing in fake ID for mass murder. Oh, geez.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. I can't get into this club, but I can get into this motherfucking Walmart. The other thing too is like if you're the kind of dude that's thinking like, do all these whores need abortions? Hopefully, there's someone who secretly had an abortion from your baby.
Say that. Well, I'm thinking about all the line cooks that I work with that never really have opinions on politics, never really have much to say. I guarantee there's been an abortion or two in their lives, and they still just have nothing to say. Oh, whoop, not my problem.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
Guess what? It will be your problem. I told Roderick, I said, it's a lot of dudes where all of a sudden this is going to be their problem. They're going to start eating up that check. You know, that you know, that little $30,000 eventually gonna be 10,000 because you're gonna have to pay everybody and take care of all these kids.
Well, look, all these people need to do is pull themselves up by their bootstraps and make enough money so that they can use the secret places that rich people will be using to get their mistresses and daughters abortions.
Well, they think
also all these hoes need abortions. Well, who's the hoe that impregnated me?
Exactly.
There's
a lot of
I like that
people.
name.
There's a lot of people walking around that like it's because there's abortions that their life isn't fucked up.
Right.
Like it wasn't up to them, but it's like, you know, I guess not to get biblical, but spare the rod, don't have the child. And then now you can keep your whole check, and now you don't have to like give up time, or you have this acrimonious relationship with some woman that you hate because she had this kid. Like there's a lot of people that their lives are improved. They don't even fucking know it.
I don't have to look at like. Sorry, go ahead, Newsy.
People are going to be a lot less willing to have unprotected sex going forward. Hopefully, yeah. I would like
if they don't get rid of condoms, you know, contraceptive includes condoms. People just think it's birth control, them shots. Right. Eventually, you're not going to be able to find rubbers.
Yeah, but guys don't want to find rubbers.
That's
Karen said that like it was a mitigating factor. There's men hoping for that shit.
No, there's no. That's not what happens. Is I'm not gonna suddenly protect myself. You've been warning me about shit that is that would protect me. It's not because abortions are illegal that suddenly I'm gonna heed the call. And also, it's a lot of times the person who needs to put on the condom who's a big fat baby about it, isn't it?
Right. I feel like the cream pie porn industry is going to dry up. No pun intended.
Yes, it is.
But like, I wouldn't do those scenes if I was those people anymore.
I'd be like, you know what?
Cream pies are done.
Right. It's over in these cream pie streets.
Wow. It's going to be facials moving forward.
People should have led with that if they have arguments against abortion. If you lead with that, the amount of people who are on Pornhub for the cream pies will be like, no.
Why don't the Democrats just say that? No, I'm just kidding. Joe Biden's giving a speech. Cream pies are over.
But here's the thing that Shalewa brought up. You can't just you hear this news and you wanna relax a little bit. The Juuls are being taken off the shelf. The vapes, the nationwide ban on Juul e-cigarettes has gone into effect. Stores that sell the e-cigarettes were ordered to remove them from the shelves Thursday after the Food and Drug Administration said Juul's parent company, Altria, had provided insufficient safety data.
I thought this already happened.
I think with like a flavor or something in the
past, it was the flavored ones, and they were worried that the kids were smoking them when really, I think that was a brand that was popular, or that particular kind of cigarette was popular in India. And so that's a large part of the population here that now can't get the kind of cigarettes they want because they're worried about the children.
You can still get regular cigarettes though?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you can still do that.
Regular nicotine is fine.
Yeah, you can still put a pinch between your cheek and gum if you want.
Yeah, you don't think the tobacco lobby has anything to do with this? Of course.
Yeah, come on, dog. This Marlboro all the way to the top.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, you can call 311 and get free Nicorette gum if you live in New York.
What?
Oh, that's nice.
Thank you for the PSA.
That's wild.
Just as someone who was addicted to nicotine lozenges for about 6-7 years.
Wow. Did you try juuling?
Oh yeah. I was doing an e-cig prior to the invention of the Juul.
Okay.
And then I made the switch to lozenges. So
and that stuff should be easy to get because it's terrible time and everybody's going to be stressed out, and in New York State the concealed carry law has been revoked.
Right.
That will, of course, include New York City as well.
I was thinking about that, and I was like, you know what? They're going to stop blowing out them goddamn horns.
That's what I thought.
Because, down here, you don't blow horns too quick. You almost forget you got a horn. When I was up there, it was like, bam, 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 everywhere. Yeah. When people go, well, I don't know if you have a concealed weapon, or they, a few guns get pulled out on them, that shit going to stop.
It's going to take a few shootings, but that's coming. for sure.
Wow.
A few pedestrians shooting the car because they were like, look, you the fourth person done blowing their horn at me. Somebody riding on their bike him do and be like, look, you hit me, I'm gonna shoot you now. It's gonna be a problem.
I'm shooting
here,
man.
Look here, man. Someone just shot at least 2 different cases of shooting up the train within the past like 2 to 3 months. And when I say we just kept going as normal, the thing with New York is we always forget about the delusion. We have to counter the delusion of being where New York is so we can handle anything. And I'm like, we need to act like the people that came from the other states that we came from. Quit acting like you were born here. And I say that as someone who was born in New York, but grew up in Georgia and knows the difference. Quit acting like you don't know what it's like to be in someone's home and they're like, look at this gun my dad has. And you're like, is there a safety? Is there a what the fuck? You know, don't think that's not going to happen because you stand in too close in line at someone at Trader Joe's. If it's going to pop out anywhere, it's going to pop off at Trader Joe's.
And a lot of New Yorkers take pride into being like, not trying funny, overly aggressive and talking really harsh. Do you think somebody is like, look, I'm tired of you, and it's going to be like a shootout just walking down the street?
But that it's not that. It's going to be the people who step over the bodies as they're being shot. That's the thing you have to fight. You got to fight that mindset because sure, people are going to shoot or whatever. And then you have to let it affect you. It requires people who call themselves New Yorkers to open up and feel something instead of putting up that shell and walking through and just being like, well, there's a dead body. Let me go on and get some, ginger ale. Like you have to...
but before, traffic starts, I got to get to where I need to go. But I don't understand why anyone in New York City would need a gun. The way that it was always explained to me, I was raised here. And I didn't know that people just handed 12-year-olds guns for their birthday. But, as we talk to people, they're like, yeah, well, we shot animals that there were too many in our backyard or they were threatening our blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. What do we need it for? What do New Yorkers need it for? You can't even, I can't think of one reason. You gave me a reason, rest of the country. I don't know the reason that
years ago, one of my coworkers were talking. One of them invited him to the strip club and he said, can I bring my gun? And he was just like, I don't think so. He was like, no, I don't want to go. I was like, what? Why do you need to bring your gun to the strip club?
The gun's for shooting and for fun.
Because he doesn't know to not start a tab at the strip club. That's why, because he got before. And instead of thinking I won't start a tab, that way they don't charge me an extra $500 for I don't know what. He's like, I'll have them wiggle around on my gun, and then they'll know to just go ahead and close out every drink I get.
And you know what? The strippers are going to get paid because you know what? The strippers might pull out their guns. And be like, you know what? You're going to pay this tab.
Well, also, like in New York, there'll be people that want to shoot animals, but it's not going to be animals. Like it's going to be some Bernie Get shit.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
You see your stripper and you're like, does my stripper have a dick? I'm trying to be 2022, but okay, it's a gun. I think I'd rather it was a dick.
Yeah, it's concealed, so your puñada can be like a extra pocket. So next thing you know, you got problems up in there.
Right. That's right, because they don't get fully naked in New York, so they can stick it under a pasty or something.
But that's just because
literally under your boob. I can lift my boob and hide a little pistol.
I have to make it rain like this.
Hands up.
But they don't go all nude because we can drink in the strip club. So drinking and guns.
In Atlanta, they get naked and you drink.
And they got guns.
And they drink.
And they got guns.
Yeah. And the distance is different too. Like the women actually, I mean, they got rules, but people like fuck them rules. And so they be like all up on each other.
It goes down in the South.
Yeah. The only thing we don't have is a beach.
That's the thing. Everyone is like, oh, New Yorkers, they're like, badass and whatever. I'm scared of everything you just said.
Nah, you're right to be. You right to be.
You should be.
Just make sure you tip and you might be okay.
Yeah, New Yorkers gonna get the shock of their lives.
New Yorkers are gonna be shooting rats on the street when they get scared.
That's why I can't believe no one had already said that. I'm absolutely shooting at rats. I mean, raccoons over COVID. Raccoons really took a foothold here in Brooklyn. So
the problem
I would
problem's
shoot
gonna-
a raccoon, but they have thumbs as well. So
The real problem is going to be if New Yorkers get the guns and then they like them, and then you can't go back.
Right.
Because right now, part of the reason it's easy to be like, we banning guns is because it's like, yeah, right, that's a bad idea. But the power of a fucking gun in someone's hand, immediately they're like, it's a good idea. That's the scary shit.
It's obviously the reason why you would have a gun. It's just the power feeling, because even if somebody pulls a gun at you, are you going to pull out a gun? It's too late. When do you pull out a gun? When
you're eyeballing somebody else's gun, like at the start of the infraction, if you see it on somebody's hip, you're already just like, all right, well, I know that I'll have to get my gun out at some point.
But like, shouldn't we know that? Like, I know when to turn on my turn signal when I'm driving.
Right.
I know, how to shift into reverse. I have to know how to drive backwards. I have to know simple things about driving. Tell me when to pull out a gun. When's a good time to pull out a gun? When you're aggressive, when you're drunk, when you want to ask for a ride. Like what?
When you're sad.
When you don't have enough money to pay.
Not when a person is shooting up a classroom full of kids.
Well,
that's
now,
when you don't pull out your gun. You stay outside, let them run out of bullets, and then you go in all peaceful like.
There's going to be New York PSAs of like, when do I pull out my gun?
Right.
Here.
The poor MTA people, they're dead, right?
Right.
Oh no.
They're not going to put them behind bulletproof glass.
Yeah. There's a reason for that. But like New Yorkers pull their dicks out on the train. They're not going to pull out their guns.
Right.
Oh my God. Now when we hear people's video games and you don't have headphones on, now you're actually dead.
All these cell phones getting shot at.
You may have
See,
just pulled
now
out.
I'm going to shoot you back if you shoot at my cell phone. You see what I mean? Like now I'm finding
That's
where
when
the
you
lines
take out
are.
your gun.
Okay,
you
now
might
I
have
see.
also like came up with a novel idea of how to get rid of the train masturbators.
Nah, I don't think so.
I think I'm gonna have to move back to Massachusetts.
We're civilized.
Hey,
The
you know
train
what?
masturbators are gonna have guns pulled out first. And that's how you
Israel
gonna know.
sounds safer now.
I know.
I can
Least
go
there
to
are
my
bomb
own
shelters.
country. They do have bomb shelters in the apartment. Oh my God.
You see something, say something. I'm not snitching on nobody. You fucking-
Yeah, exactly. I didn't see none, man.
Oh my God, people are just going to be patting their gun on their hip. See something, say what?
Yeah.
Nothing. Okay.
No, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to jail just preemptively
Safe.
for my own safety.
Oh, okay.
Smart.
All right.
Because they ain't got no guns in jail. Genius.
It's safer.
I
did-
mean,
and you can do the crossword all day.
they have a library, they have medical care,
A gym.
they have a
Internet.
basketball court.
You
What
better
else?
podcast.
3
Starting to
squares.
sound pretty good.
Have you guys heard the story of the two Americans? They've been in war before. They, for the American Army, American Marine Corps, but they went over to Ukraine to help fight with them. And these two Americans were captured, as was before that two British citizens. They are sentenced to death. We don't know what's going to happen to the two Americans.
Russian television has broadcast interviews with two Americans captured in Ukraine, Alex Struki and Andy Wen. Where are they? Who is holding them? And what happens next?
And it'll be Putin's spokesperson that's about to talk. Alex happens to be Keith and the Girl listener Sparrow's ex-husband. They're still very close. This is the Alex that they're talking about. It's just a coincidence that we're talking about it.
Russian television has broadcast interviews with two Americans captured in Ukraine, Alex Struki and Andy Wen. Where are they?
You might have heard on Keith and the Girl, she would call him Sarge.
Who is holding them? And what happens next?
They're soldiers of fortune, and they were involved in illegal activities.
For what it's worth, they're not soldiers of fortune. They're
What
not,
does that mean?
It means you're getting paid.
Mercenaries.
It means you're a mercenary. It means you're in it for the adrenaline and the money.
Oh.
I mean, they go over there. You're getting scraps off, Ukrainian civilians' food, off their plates. You're not.
I see.
You're not. A
They about
soldier
their
of
life.
fortune. Yeah, you're there for the right causes. To me, that's why it seems different.
On the territory of Ukraine, they were involved in firing and shelling our military personnel. They were endangering their life. They should be held responsible for those crimes that they have committed.
Can you guarantee that these Americans will not face the same fate?
As the British.
No, I cannot guarantee anything. It depends on the investigation.
So now Alex's mom is asking people to call your state representatives. She says about them being called mercenaries, it's absolutely untrue. Alex is a volunteer who was training Ukrainian forces, not a mercenary. Sometimes his only meal was what a Ukrainian villager could share from their own table. Alex and Andy are prisoners of war and must be afforded protections and humane treatment accordingly. I was actually somewhat encouraged when the Russian government spokesperson said those ridiculous statements because it told me that Russia is aware that the world is watching. For them to publicly acknowledge the men are being held makes it the Russian Federation's responsibility to ensure that Alex and Andy are treated humanely as required by the Geneva Conventions and their additional protocols. Alex happens to be turning 40 this week. To commemorate his birthday, the family is asking that today, June 24th, you call Senator Richard Shelby's office at 202-224-5744 and thank him for pledging to do everything possible to get the men released, as well as, if you have the time, call your own senators and representatives. But that's what's going right now. It's scary stuff, almost scarier than getting the worst news back, you would think. This is
And
just
free
uncertainty.
Brittany Griner.
Yeah, Brittany over there.
Right.
They collecting everybody.
I just saw a story about a Butler County. Butler is one of the many counties surrounding Pittsburgh. A Butler County man just got 14 years in prison for trying to smuggle weed into the country. And like you see a picture of him being detained. He's wearing like a Hawaiian shirt and shorts, and he's like, I don't know, ready for a Moscow vacation. And 14 years.
Hey man, that shit, those motherfuckers want the smoke. I can't even imagine like crossing the street to go fight somebody. They went to a whole nother country because they heard about it on the news and was like, they need some help. Yo, they real as fuck. Hats off to them, man. Jesus.
Yeah. So, give that the number again. Richard Shelby, he seems to be an important senator in this case. Just, everybody likes a little pat on the back. 202-224-5744. I'll tell you what, Paige, this is some fucking party you put together. they're gonna try to save this guy, but he's not gonna have 3 forms of ID or a pay stub, and they're gonna have to leave him there.
Let's call right now. Let's get him on the phone.
Oh, no.
I like yesterday having trouble at the DMV, and then you're like, oh my God, you're ready to cry. I can't seem to get this fucking thing done. And then who do you complain about? Because, we're talking about abortion rates and people being stolen overseas. Like, really, Keith? You didn't bring a stub from your pay? I don't have pay stubs. You didn't bring an electric bill, but it's in my landlord's name.
A white man can't get a license. Oh, the world is just so fucked up.
I'm showing credit cards under Keith Malley. Anything in my wallet under Keith Malley, and they're like, that's not enough to prove it's you. I'm like, then call the police because I stole all this guy's shit.
You know what would help is if he had a license.
Yeah. I can't get. I want to get my VA card to prove something. I need my license. It's all that,
I got a ticket recently in the neighborhood that I just moved to. I didn't realize that I had to get a parking permit, even though every day I park under the sign that says like 1 hour only. But whatever, didn't think it applied to me.
Right.
I got the ticket, and so I go to apply for the resident parking, and then I have to show my state driver's license. That still says my old place. Can't show that. Go to show one of my utilities. My utility says Jermone on it instead of Jerome. Can't show that. So every day I'm just like, I hope I don't get another fucking ticket. I finally got it solved. And when I did, I did think of Keith and his thing. I was just like, oh, well, it all worked out for me in the end. This is nice. And I'm sorry that you're still struggling.
You know what they told me? That my license expired. I was having trouble paying this speeding ticket from some hick town when I was driving, of all things, to my cake tasting. First of all, I shouldn't still have to pay this ticket. I got a divorce.
Right. That
should negate it. But anyway,
get a refund.
I finally figured out how to pay it, but it's past the point of no return when it comes to my license. I'm at the DMV yesterday, and they go, oh, why didn't you just renew it? I'm like, last time I was here, it's because of the speeding ticket, and these people, they don't pick up their phone. Right. Please try. You'll see. They don't pick up. I can't pay this fucking thing. And they're like, oh, you still could have got your license that day. And I'm like, okay, so could we please pretend I did? And then you just, well, not now. Now it's too late. I'm like, why even tell me this lie?
Yeah, there's a I'm not a big Bukowski guy, but there's a poem by Bukowski called The Shoelace that I've always related to. And the gist of it is essentially just like, yeah, the world is ending, but then what really sends you to the insane asylum is when your shoelace breaks while the world is ending. And that's the straw that broke the camel's back. And Keith, I'm sorry to hear it.
I said to her, I said, hey, what if we were fucking? And she goes, what? And I'm like, just like if we were fucking. Is there a button?
I hate that kind of customer service where they tell you what you could have done, but it's too late because it feels like when someone tells you they used to like you. It's like, oh, back in high school, I had the biggest crush on you. You're like, well, there's nothing to be done about it now.
Yeah, somehow I still have to pay taxes, but nobody knows who the fuck I am.
You find me then.
Don't pay your taxes. This will be solved real quick.
I don't know if this is related, but this is what I'm thinking of as you're having issues, sort of customer service related. We had to go to the bank a couple of times in the last week, which is already ridiculous. Like the fact that I'm there, you should be like, oh, fuck, you're here. What can I do? This is obviously a terrible time in your life. Okay, I need this piece of paper because this company asked for it. I need this. Oh, we don't have that. You should call the number. Well, I called the number. They said to come in. Oh, can I call the number in front of them? No, you should hang up. I'll go get the file. Like all this shit. The branch was a bunch of children running it. And you know what, Nick, if you can hear me now from Chase, honestly, I am talking about you. Originally, when I started talking about this, I was like, no, Nick, you're one of the good ones. You have not called me back in 3 days about my money. My money. Okay. Damn. Oh, yeah, I'll call you back. Yeah. It always goes to voicemail. You're so busy, Nick. Well,
thank God him that don't have a gun. Like if she got access to her money, then she could buy a gun. Nick ass would be calling.
Then there's more. There's more. We wrote her, but you know who we are. You know who I am. Yes. The name on the account is this.com. Anyway. So we decide we're actually going to file a formal complaint. This is a bank and no one there is acting like there's something to be done. This is crazy. So we're filing a complaint and they're like, oh yeah, we're on a recorded line. Like this is over the phone, of course. So we got all your stuff. I'm like, so what if we're on a recorded line? What do you mean? We want a case number. We want to know what happens after we complain. Like, no. This is being followed up. I know that you're the king and queens and all of them. That is the not follow up kings of the world. But I'm following up. So give me a case number. Okay, the case number. And they're like, okay, so we got the branch on file. And I go, yeah. For the record, what branch is that? What branch am I talking about? They're like, oh, it's on a recorded line. So we get no. Now I'm going to give you the address. You're going to write it down. You're going to repeat it because this is an official complaint. This isn't just I'm calling up to have a conversation with you. This is me at a point where I think this branch is dangerous to all of our money. The institution that you call important and you pay them. And he's a manager at the bank. He was a history major in college.
You find that out?
You know too much information.
What did you interrogate him?
What else are we talking about? Not my money, because he doesn't have that file.
When I worked at Bed Bath & Beyond in New York, all those people that I worked around, all the people who were coming in hungover, reeking of booze every day, their dream job was to work at the bank. So that's where they are now.
Okay, so you guys know I work for a small, expensive clothing and shoe company in Manhattan. And I yesterday spent 20 minutes on the phone getting screamed at and sobbed at by a woman.
For the record, I wasn't creaming or I wasn't doing any of that.
You weren't creaming?
She wasn't creaming.
Sure.
I said creaming by accident.
This is a 1-900 bank?
Creaming.
Essentially, she had a gift card that was like, I don't know, 4 years old for around $300. And she didn't want the gift card anymore. She wanted to be refunded.
Oh, no.
But her money is like, God, like I don't know where I can't access that. So she's crying, she's screaming, she's swearing at me. and she keeps saying that the world is crumbling.
Yeah.
I think she was drunk too and crazy.
Okay.
Well,
But
I mean, have you seen what a tank of gas costs right now?
She kept being like, the world is crumbling
Oh,
and I
boy.
can't buy any of your shoes because my legs don't work.
Oh boy.
Wow.
And I
Oh,
was like,
boy.
okay. So I said, you know what? Like, I'm here for you and I want you to prosper and I want you to find peace. I want you to find serenity in your week. We're going to write you a check and we're going to mail
Wow.
it to your house.
Wow.
So it worked.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I was like, listen, person to person, you're right. The world is crumbling.
Mhm.
And but you know, the whole thing just crying, like I originally bought these shoes for $300, even though I couldn't afford them because I was jealous of my friend. Who
Oh my
had them.
goodness.
And
What
then
the fuck?
I
You
returned
should have told me
them.
that part.
And then I thought I could buy a dress, but the dress doesn't fit me because all of your clothes are made for people who are skinny and I'm fat and I'm old and I don't want to dress like
Oh.
one of these fucking slobs I see on the street.
Mm.
But now my body doesn't work and my legs don't work and the world is crumbling and I need you to give me the $300. And I was like,
These are great lyrics.
I
And it's
will
worth
give
the
you-
$300. Like,
I will
she earned
give
it.
you whatever you want.
And
It's
she
from
still
her-
gets to keep the gift card?
No. The gift
Oh,
card
okay.
is
Expired.
canceled.
Yeah.
Well, can
Okay.
you're a different customer service rep because here's what I got for one of my phone calls. Okay. Get on the line again with these people. They already connected me to the wrong people. Now I got to call
Mhm.
again. Hi, I was just on the phone with you. I keep getting connected to the wrong department. Please listen to what I need so that we can
Right.
just work this out. And they're like, okay, let me just make a quick note here I can hear a smirk. And then I was on hold for over an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
And they
on
be
hold for so
knowing.
long. I called on the other line 20 minutes in. Just
Right.
like keep checking on whenever they put me on hold in the new line where I get a new person. I check. I was on hold for over an hour. I was talking to a different representative, but I just wanted to see what does it
Right.
say in my note. Then after that note, hysterical moment that this person had for themselves, I noticed that I'm waiting on the call a lot. So I'm sure that the note is bitch.
Yep.
Like, okay,
yeah,
button for bitch. Here we go.
And,
they
like,
flagged your account.
It's no excuse now because they know from the phone number ID everything. It all
Yeah.
comes up on their screen,
Mhm.
and they still make you go through that shit. I think they get off on being like, so what's the last 4 digits of the card?
Mhm.
Okay. And how do you spell chimda? Okay.
Mhm.
They fucking do it
Yep.
every time, and it's so goddamn frustrating.
Well,
And-
a new
and let me-
tactic could be to tell them that your legs don't work and the world.
Oh,
is
I'm doing
crumbling.
that.
I'm
The
saying-
world is crumbling,
It
and I
did.
just want my Best Buy gift certificate.
It
Please return
didn't.
this pizza spatula. I can't
Yeah.
use it.
It worked on me. So the
I
world
don't want
is
to look like the
crumbling.
other fat people in the city that look like slobs.
I'm gonna send Chase my my X-rays. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
which one, all of them suck. Here's this. Look at fucking account.
Yeah.
I told the DMV, I said, do you think I hacked Keith Malley's vaccine account? And then I went, the world's crumbling.
The world is crumbling.
The world is crumbling.
And then I just fell and and my
And
legs
him,
don't work.
You got myasthenia gravis. Like, you
Yeah.
got some good sob story stuff. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I think you can own that bank. You can own that branch of Chase.
But let
If
me
you
tell
tell
you how
them your
much
whole
they don't
story.
give a fuck. How it did I was in the thing and I'm like, oh, Citibank offers this. And one of the managers said, you should really go to Citibank then. I'm like,
Oh, yeah, he's done
okay.
with you.
Yeah.
No, this is a
Damn.
different person. No, Nick, you're off the hook for that one. Same person, the not Nick person. I forget their name. You're lucky, but same person said something stupid about, oh, aren't you like a fucking dress company? I don't fucking know. Pretending like she remembered me from the last time I was here. I was like, stop trying. Also, there's a file in front of you. It
Right.
probably
Look
said
at it,
podcast
read
or
it.
something. Let's not. And she goes, oh, you know what it is? It's Friday and I'm already on my weekend. I'm like,
Oh no.
Well, I need money for my weekend.
yeah. She said to me things like, you know how it is. And I'm like, no, I got
No.
a bank.
I love how they I hate love when they call your bluff. Like when you try to do the thing with like, I need to reduce my cable bill, so I'm gonna tell them I'm going to Time Warner, and they'd be like, yeah, you should do that. You're like, fuck, the
They
one
go
thing.
1-800 Time Warner. Yeah.
Fuck, I don't want them to come to my house and move all this stuff. I just wanted less bills.
But
Can't do
she
it
was
too early in the
serious.
game.
Yeah, but like as a money man, she's like, oh, that does seem like a good deal. I'm like, what am I talking about here? What's happening?
You start selling her on Citibank. She's like, so what's the percentage on the APR?
No joke. At some point, Xerxes goes, I don't know where I am anymore, because he was like, are we in a bank? Like, are you on vacation with me right now?
You want to sit them down and make them watch Chase commercials. Like,
Yeah.
you see how you make it like my finances are important?
They're playing it on the
said
wall
it.
behind them.
Yeah.
Yes, a big poster with somebody smiling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to be that. I want to be that person. Can you make that happen?
But like, you see the person smiling with the happy face? That's where I want to be right now.
It's like that
maybe
movie.
start a
Falling-
little simpler by going like, hey, we're watching this commercial. Which one's you and which one's me?
Right.
Let's start with the basics.
It's
What
like that
character
movie,
am I playing?
Falling Down, where he goes to McDonald's and shows, he's like, he gets that shitty burger and he's like, no, look at the fucking picture.
Well, now that'll get you shot.
Well, he did. It did get
Yeah.
people shot that day in that
There you
movie.
go.
So that
I'm
makes
getting
sense.
shirts made. The front says the world is crumbling, and the back says, and my legs don't work.
My legs don't work.
I mean, it's
That's
pretty
gonna be hitting
true.
with the live sound. So it's a sock on the door for podcast. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah. We made like
We just
several
made-
t-shirts here.
We made some great ideas today.
The world is crumbling. Thank you. Okay.
By the way, speaking of money, here's a fun story in honor of Paige. Okay?
Finally.
No doom, no
Fun
gloom.
story.
Paige. I'm sorry, Paige.
The Brad Pitt was told that in his he owns a chateau, of course, 1,000-acre estate chateau in France, and he was told that there's gold buried underneath it, and he says, I'm embarrassed, but I got obsessed. Somebody told me there's gold underneath for like a year. All I could think about was finding this gold.
But you have gold. You're Brad Pitt.
Yeah, but more gold's good.
You're made
It's
of
a-
gold.
It's a VHS tape of Thelma and Louise.
Everybody
Comedy
down.
gold.
This is literally an episode of American Dad. Like there's an episode where Stan thinks there's gold under the house. And what the fuck, Brad Pitt? You're supposed to be the same one.
You mean
I'm
an
s-
episode of Keith's Dad?
I'm trying to figure out if my dad's involved. Maybe it has something to do with where I grew up, Brad Pitt says, because in the Ozark Mountains, there were always stories of hidden caches of gold. I even brought radar equipment to figure this out, so I guess he's implying that was a lot of money. I'll ask if my dad was part of it. You ever see those memes online where it says, "Would you live in this haunted house for a week? No internet for $1 million?" Like, what the fuck? Add in, would my dad be my roommate? Then you got to think about it. By the way, me and Ken are going to do a new Daddy Issues, and we're very excited about emails to go over. So that, of course, is in keithandthegirl.com/VIP. Ron Morrow, Karen Morrow, they host a podcast, The Black Guy Who Tips. You want to be part of that. That's very fun. I know I'm subscribed.
Thank you.
Yay.
Yeah. Bianca Brady. What's
Yeah.
going on over here? Let's do a quick health update while you're here. You got us into your life saying you have leukemia. Now every day everybody wonders. What's happening now?
Well,
Leukemia
Blake-
update.
graft versus host disease is back, aka full body rash once more,
No. God.
aka no shorts or t-shirts in the summer. Medicine that was previously tapered off is now being increased. But in other news, I went to an audiologist today and I have perfect hearing. They used the word perfect several times.
Oh.
And they did remove built up wax from my ears to the point where I feel now as though I am in a new type of world where like everything you can hear it. And I'm being a superhero with my ears that are working. And so, the door closes and then the window closes and then the back door closes and then you're in the house, you're locked in the house, you get sent to the basement, you're gagged and bound in the basement, the basement door closes, but then you hear a little birdie sing and then you know, you find.
And it's all right.
All right, well, good for you.
That's me. But you know what? You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I recently posted a selfie to Maine, and that felt very brave. So,
okay,
enjoy it.
All right. Newsy, of course, hosts our Q&A, where he goes back. Some scary stuff comes out of this, but he takes whatever date we're recording and then goes back through 17 years of exactly that date each year, what we discussed and what we talked about. And that's in your VIP package and a lot of fun. Shalewa was shaking her head like, that can't be good.
No, that
Right.
sounds like a terrible idea.
Don't cancel yourself.
Keith Malley coming straight off of like the open mic scene onto a podcast. By the way, it's a new invention. Let's go.
And you get the weekly updates of Newsy's boring sex life.
Yes.
Right, yeah,
Just
yeah.
nothing's happening.
Nothing's going on out there.
No.
So boring.
Just to fill you in, Shalewa, he goes, nothing really happened this week. Only fucked 5 husbands.
Yeah.
2 guys had guns that they wanted to use sex play in. It's a lot of stuff is going on with
Kind of
this
got
guy.
a sugar daddy now.
Stay busy.
I'm
No,
not.
cut him off.
Yeah.
He tried to cage me, and I'm not having that. Not
Won't be
Exactly.
caged.
Can't put
not
baby in
during
a corner.
Pride. Mm-mm.
Not
having
during
it.
Pride.
Not during Pride.
Mm-mm.
I don't think so. I mean,
But you
the
know what I'm
money-
saying? Any other month, get that check. You know what I'm saying?
Same.
Listen, the rent is due.
We're still gonna
Same.
do some massage stuff here and there. So like, I'm still keeping him in my orbit. He just can't own me. Is all. That's all. Yeah.
Keep him in the stable.
And I did hook up with Steeler's butt last night, so that was cool. Good times all around.
What does that mean?
He had a tattoo of a Steelers on his butt, and I told
Okay.
him,
That's
logo?
simple, guys.
Literally. I mean, what else could it have been?
"What could
Yeah.
it be?"
That's simple.
Oh,
Yeah.
but just to know that like in his normal life, nobody knows that he likes dudes, and like the amount of like, I assume some of you are in love and you do that thing where you like you kiss and then you look into each other's eyes and you kiss again and you look like we're
I
doing that.
love that.
And we're doing
Aw.
that, and to know that he just goes back to his life where he can't have that, but he comes to me and I provide that for him.
Oh.
But
Not
that's the
familiar
part,
with
to be
that.
clear, that's the part that Newsy loves. When they go back to their
Yes.
wives and are
Right.
sad and
Right.
everything's a mess.
And
He's
And
a
the
real
other
sicko.
guy, you can provide, family and, the son he never had.
No, had to cut that off. Sorry. Anyways, catch me on Q&A on Instagram. Everyone hates Chew. I'm easy to find online. Thank you.
Shalewa, do me a favor. Tell people what's doing.
I'm doing my solo show again in July.
Yes. Oh,
Excellent.
It's called Don't Reach in the Bag, and it's about the 6 to 7 years that I worked in a porn store at the turn of the century.
mm-mm.
The most recent century, not the anyway. And much harder to get the VCR to work in the time of dinosaurs. But I'm doing it in Brooklyn at a place called Friends and Lovers on July 21st. Otherwise, I'm on all the important social media, whatever that may mean, at Silky Jumbo, all one word, traditional spelling.
Traditional spelling. Silky Jumbo.
Silky Jumbo. Yeah.
No Z's in there.
No.
All over my feeds, everywhere I turn on my feeds. Shalewa's solo show is being lauded within an inch of its life. And so I'm very excited. And yeah, I'm just saying.
Shalewa, you do a whole podcast. You haven't even talked
Yeah,
about.
you didn't even talk about your
I'm about to
podcast.
say she gonna mention
yeah.
a podcast.
I never remember the thing. I have a podcast. I have a podcast called The War Report that I do with the stellar Gastor Almonte, and that comes out like every Thursday with a little extra something on Mondays, and it's just the two of us shooting the shit. Although now I guess we have to use real guns. So yeah, the vibe
It's gonna
will
be the real war
different.
report.
Yeah, a real war report now. We really got to rethink that, but I don't think Gastor will. But yeah, so there's that too. So you should listen to that as well.
And you're on Bust Down.
Oh, right. Yeah. And also I play a homeless person on Bust Down. I'll be on Flatbush Misdemeanors at some point real quick. Like
Let's go.
I forget that I do things just because, I concentrate
busy
on
being an adult.
waffles. Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. I ate 5 waffles today. So,
That's so fun. Yeah.
very adult.
Earlier Paige said, maybe I don't want to necessarily have people hear my voice on the show with today's topics. I don't want to be throwing up all over the place, but they right here. Thank you all so much for being here. I love you all. I'm so grateful I got to sit down on this talk. You're all awesome. Thanks for being in my ears. So thank you all for being
Paige,
part of
Thanks,
us.
Paige. Thanks so much.
Paige, such an
And I'm-
honor. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm big fans of everybody on the show. So
Me
like,
too. Yeah,
this is
me
like
too.
such a great collection of people. I don't know how you did it, Paige.
I feel like a diversity hire.
Yeah, you needed a white woman.
To balance all this out.
This is exciting. It's a big day for me.
We're extending Juneteenth.
Yes,
okay?
happy Juneteenth.
Well,
And of
thank
course-
you, Paige, for supporting
Yeah.
the Kickstarter and for putting together such a fantastic lineup. What were you saying, Keith?
I was just going to say, yes, thanks, Paige. And if you're listening out there and you think you're a decent person and you're pro-Ukraine, make that phone call today to Senator Richard Shelby saying, hey, thanks for... Do that trick where you go, I'm going to thank you in advance. You know what I mean? Then they have to do it. Say thank you in advance for releasing the 2 Americans from Russian holdings. 202-224-5744, and we'll talk to you next week.